Breaking news. There appears to be trouble brewing within Mercedes. Their star driver Lewis Hamilton is now pointing his finger at the team engineers for the W14's incompetence on the track. According to him, he has been saying that there is a problem with the car, but no one has been listening. More on the issue to follow soon, so stay tuned. Lewis Hamilton has accused Mercedes engineers of disregarding his input during the previous season, and is now urging the team to take responsibility and acknowledge that their current approach was flawed after their failure to follow his recommendations. During an episode of the BBC's Checkered Flag podcast, the 7-time world champion emphasized that he possesses a deep understanding of what a car requires to perform at its best. He also revealed that he had previously advocated for a particular approach to address the issues, urging Mercedes to follow his lead. The podcast started out tame, with Hamilton talking about the joy he finds in simply driving the car, saying, "I just enjoy driving. I enjoyed to have a couple of battles, and it was close, but not quite there. I've had many cars like this, particularly in my McLaren days. I don't know how or when we are going to do it, to turn it around, but it has to happen." But things escalated quickly when he started putting the blame on Mercedes engineers when he said, "Last year, I told them the issues that are with the car. Like, I've driven so many cars in my life, so I know what a car needs. I know what a car doesn't need. And I think it's really about accountability. It's about owning up and saying, yeah, you know what? We didn't listen to you. It's not where it needs to be, and we've got to work." These remarks from Hamilton are some of the most provocative since Mercedes encountered difficulties last year. Furthermore, they seem to contradict Mercedes' culture of avoiding blame, which team principal Toto Wolff has previously discussed. Hamilton expressed his opinion while the German manufacturer continued to struggle to keep up with the leaders in Sakir. Despite his efforts, the 38-year-old driver finished the race in 5th place, and it appeared that Mercedes was the 4th fastest team, trailing behind Ferrari and Aston Martin. Following the qualifying session on Saturday, Wolff acknowledged defeat and announced that the team would be abandoning their current model in favor of a new one. He admitted that the team had made a mistake in 2022, but maintained that they could overcome their challenges by remaining committed to their plans. Nevertheless, Wolff instructed his mechanics to explore a fresh solution. He has criticized his team's design concept due to their poor start to the year, and he has even suggested that they may need to take a completely different approach. This has prompted 1996 F1 World Champion Damon Hill to raise doubts about whether Mercedes has the necessary expertise to regain their position at the top. He said, "It does seem early in the day, but they came out with a car that looked very different to everyone else's last year. The question was, why has everyone else gone a different way to them?" Throughout the year, they have persisted with a car which was porpoising, jumping up and down aerodynamically. They had terrible trouble fixing it and even got the regulations changed so that the cars were raised up 1.5 centimeters. And that hasn't helped them, it appears. Maybe there is something fundamentally wrong with the direction they have gone in. If that is the case, they've got a real problem. Because, with the cost cap, they cannot just spend a lot of money and redesign a car. Because that would also imply that they must abandon what they think that they know, and follow others who have gone in another direction. But they don't have any information on that. They don't have the wind tunnel knowledge. They might have to just plug on with what they've got. Hill believes that with Mercedes' significant gap behind Red Bull, the team can no longer depend solely on Hamilton's exceptional skills. "You can be as brilliant as you like, but unfortunately, the car provides the option of getting to the front," Hill added. "You need the thing that gets you into the same bracket as the guys who are leading the championship." Christian Horner said it was a superb race. It wasn't a superb race. There was no racing. They were half a minute up the road. They weren't even pushing. The gap is probably bigger now than it was last year. Following their crushing defeat by Red Bull in Sakir, both Toto Wolff and Lewis Hamilton have been vocal about their disappointment, and the current situation seems extremely gloomy. In his usual column on the Sky Sports website, Martin Brundle shared his perspective on the chaotic sequence of events that has caused the team to go from being contenders for the championship to a mere footnote. He said, "It seems to me that Mercedes went the wrong way in 2022 and refused to turn around. Even Lewis and Toto were openly expressing their disappointment at certain points of the weekend, and normally, they only sing the praises of the teams at Brackley and Brixworth. It must be tense at the team right now. The quality is there, it just needs direction and oxygen to calm heads. Zero side pod concept is not the buzz phrase they'll want to hear again, but the mantra from the team was that to change direction would necessitate a step backwards first before working up and understanding a new philosophy of aerodynamics. George Russell has already said that he's prepared to suffer that pain for longer-term gain. They dogmatically turned the Mercedes into a late winning car last season, but I don't see or hear the appetite for another year like that. Although the team's failure to create a successful concept is a significant factor, according to Brundle, it is not the only reason for their decline. He asserts that other elements have also played a role in their fall from grace. In the early phases of the hybrid era, they had such a hugely dominant power unit. They haven't got that anymore. When the window was open to improve the power units, they lost out. They've also lost key people like Andy Cowell, James Vowles, and others, with James Allison also currently focused elsewhere. The remaining talent pool is immense, but it hasn't gelled. Although Mercedes may have to sacrifice short-term gains with their current W14 if they decide to explore a different design approach, their rivals are not convinced that the team will remain a slump for an extended period of time. Ferrari's leadership is of the view that it is premature to declare Mercedes out of contention at the front, based solely on their performance in Bahrain. According to Ferrari's team principal Fred Vasseur, "It's race 1 and we don't have to do any conclusion. I think that Mercedes will wake up soon. We don't know what will happen next week. The next race will be a different story in Jeddah with a different tarmac. So let's see in Jeddah if we have a better picture." Red Bull Motorsport advisor Helmut Marko shares Vasseur's belief that Mercedes will make progress from their current position. When asked whether Ferrari or Aston Martin was Red Bull's primary competitor, Marko responded, "After one race, it's difficult to say. There are still many competitors left. I also believe that Mercedes will become better throughout the season." Christian Horner, the team principal of Red Bull, is also of the opinion that if Mercedes decides to adopt a more efficient design, there is a possibility for them to make substantial improvements. "I've been around long enough to see things change so quickly," he said. "I think these cars are still relatively immature and, as teams develop and upgrades come, things will change." As rumors swirl about Mercedes considering a new design approach, Horner believes that there could be a convergence towards the downwash sidepod solution, pioneered by his team and also pursued by Aston Martin. "I think the operating windows of these cars is very narrow, and every team in the top looks like it has developed its own theme," he said. "One team has adopted our theme, and it made a gain, so I guess at some point it is going to converge, and that can happen during a season." What are your thoughts on Lewis Hamilton's statements? Was he in the wrong, or was he simply stating facts? Share your thoughts in the comments below, and don't forget to subscribe and ring that notification bell for the hottest F1 news.